butter. Banks, you still got some money? Show us what you living like. If you ain't got no money, I'll give you $5 grand for the Banks name. That might be one of my... we discussing Lloyd Banks right now. And one of my homies just said he never really stopped being a Lloyd Banks fan. So I said, look, I hit the blunts once. I came up with a dope title, Lloyd Banks next LP or EP, Victim of Circumstance. Come on, man. Show y'all, man. Come on, man. Take the mask off. Take the mask off.
All right, man, we back. Goodfellas Sports TV. Appreciate everybody for checking in. You seen it. Rick Ross, for whatever reason, rips Lloyd Banks. Basically asked Lloyd Banks if he got some money. If not, he said he'll buy his name. And also said that he got a great title for his next EP, Victim of Circumstance. Let's talk about it. Hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. Now, a few weeks ago, Rick Ross was willing to bury the hatchet with 50 Cent before their lawsuit got settled. And 50 Cent said he was talented and wanted to use the BMF song by Rick Ross for the BMF TV show. Ross said he'll let him use the song if he take a picture with some of his champagne and some lemon pepper wings from Wingstop. And, basically ain't nothing come of it now that 50 Cent officially lost his lawsuit to Rick Ross that they've been going at it for a while. And Rick Ross was intimidating the server and all that, and they couldn't never serve him the notice, and they finally served him. Rick Ross ended up winning the lawsuit, and now I guess he back on the prowl. Now, he been taking jabs at 50 Cent for quite some time. Remember, they was in the car listening to Hater or Love It. He was talking about, he was like, 50 Cent ma was a bull dagger. And he was laughing at 50. Now, a lot of people didn't even really notice that, New York really couldn't destroy 50 Cent. He was doing piggy bank and going at Ja Rule. It really was Rick Ross who handled 50 Cent and bullied 50 Cent in music. Rick Ross handled them. Mafia music, just a lot of things that happened. You know what I'm saying? To me, Rick Ross won that war. All right, he won the battle. He won the war. People don't want to admit it, but he did. Okay. Now, I don't know what this had to do with Lloyd Banks, but I do know it had something to do with 50. He tagged 50 in the video on Instagram story. And, he probably knows Lloyd Banks ain't doing well. None of the members of G-Unit doing well. Remember, Trav said that Tony Yayo went to go ask Floyd for money for his mortgage. And when 50 found out he asked Floyd for some money, 50 slammed him in them bushes. We know Young Buck wasn't allowed to drop no music. Went to jail, basically filed bankruptcy. He got out his deal with 50, and now he asking for cash apps, and he asking for donations. All right. So, the trend shows you that nobody that stayed with G-Unit is doing well. So Lloyd Banks probably is broke. All right. So with Rick Ross trying to poke the bear, he just trying to get to 50, and Lloyd Banks had a good album in Hunger for More. Rotten Apple wasn't that good. I know a lot of people end up taking that album back. And a lot of people accuse 50 Cent of holding him back, but 50 Cent never fed his boys. He never fed the goons. He never fed nobody. 50 wanted to be on top of the hierarchy. He wanted to be the top dog. Now, he didn't want no lieutenant, none of that. He wanted all them dudes to be bottom feeders. It's not a coincidence that all them dudes in 50 Cent and G-Unit didn't do nothing. They had one good album. Everybody had a solid album. Even Lloyd Banks. Tony Yayo had a good album. All them dudes had a good album and nobody able to follow up. Because 50 was jealous. 50 ain't never want to see them grow. When Jimmy Iovine had 50 banned from radio, basically, 50 wasn't going to let none of them dudes be nothing. But Lloyd Banks don't bother nobody. This had everything to do with getting that 50. This dude offered this dude $5,000 for his name. Now was that kind of whack, Rick Ross? Yeah, this man ain't bothering nobody. But remember, they was beefing. He was with 50. He got to get this work. And now that he down on his knuckles, Rick Ross gonna crush them motherfuckers, literally with his weight and figuratively with the weight of his words. So the beef don't end. The beef don't stop. 50 troll people all day. Troll people mamas, troll this, that, and the third. And people need to know the type of nigga that he is. He ain't no different from Puff and Jay. All them dudes do is use you, chew you up and spit you out. And you ain't got nothing to show for it. Straight up and down. It's no different. 50 Cent didn't create bosses. Puff didn't create bosses. They created dictatorships. They dictated everything. Nobody got nothing. Look at all the people from Bad Boy. Craig Mack helped Bad Boy get off the ground, and Puff didn't even attend or send flowers to his funeral. Without Craig Mack getting him off the ground, shit, nobody knows where Big Bad Boy at. Excuse me. 50 Cent ain't no different either, and Jay ain't no different. Jay ain't want none of them dudes to be better than him. He felt threatened by Beanie Siegel, especially when Nas say compared to Beans, you whack. And 50 Cent was the same way. It's certain dudes that you can't come up under because they don't want you to be bigger than them. And when you got somebody that's mentoring you or that's your leader or help you break through, they ain't gonna never want you to blow up. You never gonna blow up. And I know Lloyd Banks like, man, I'm staying out the way. I don't even know. But Rick Ross ain't gonna never stop trolling 50 Cent. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is, If Banks sell his name for $5,000, you know what I'm saying? He might not even have control of Lloyd Banks' name. Rick Ross ever think about that? A lot of these musicians in the rap game don't even own their name. Like the Migos don't own their name. Remember the Locks didn't own their name. They had to go spin off and create D-Block. Then he said victim of circumstance. And that's what he was. That's a great EP. Title. His career went down the drain because 50 was a hating motherfucker. 50 knew his talent. And he said, well, Banks was lazy and he never wanted to do this, that, and the third. And maybe that is true. But the way everybody look at it, your whole crew, Young Buck had an incredible work ethic. You seen Straight Outta Cashville, you would not want him to follow up with that one. 50 Cent just can't sit there and have a record label and let people just, carry the record label and be responsible for their hits. That's why the game basically stole 50 Cent songs and launched his career and got the fuck on. Game fucked 50 before 50 fucked Game. And that's square business. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of people, core fan base of Lloyd Banks, they love Banks. They thought he could have been so much more than what he was as an artist, but everybody know 50 Cent was overshadowing him and hating on him and didn't want none of the members of G-Unit to be bigger than him. He always wanted them dudes to depend on him for a dime, for a car, for production. And the way he laced those contracts up, they couldn't really do nothing. And by the time they could, or if they can do something, they flame already gone. In hip hop, you lucky to have a 3 or 4 year window when you can maintain a high level of relevancy. And I just let you know what type of dude 50 Cent is. I wouldn't want to work with no bitch like that, straight up and down. That's some hoe shit. That shit Jay did. That shit that Puff did. That shit that 50 did. And when you got people that's jealous and got that hate in their heart, that's around you, and that's niggas every day you in the street with it or going to school with it, hooping with it, whatever you're doing, you ain't gonna never grow to the potential that you need to grow to. So let me know what you guys think about Rick Ross trolling Lloyd Banks and 50 Cent. Don't forget, we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can reach out if you have a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video request. Don't forget, we also have a Facebook group. Want to make a donation? Cash App CJ Good 313. That's in the description. PayPal link there as well. Best way to donate is share the video. Check out the music entertainment playlist. One time for the one time. It's your boy CJ Goodfella, Goodfella Sports TV.